I took part in a full 100% USA Grand Prix on F1 22, in which a late safety car caused the most insane last lap you have ever seen. But before we get into that, let's run through the qualifying. Kicking us off in Q1 then, and as you can see, going out on the intermediate tyres. This is because, well, we could go on the intermediate tyres or just sit around for a whole 10 minutes. So we thought, let's just go do some laps, do some running on the intermediates. It was enough to put us in P4. However, no one else has set any lap times yet. So we thought now it's time to get a little bit more serious. Put on the soft tyres and set a lap time that would be good enough to get us through into Q2. As it is a full 100% race weekend, we are doing all 3 qualifying sessions, running on our lap. As you can see, 3 seconds improvement on our lap so far on these soft tyres. But we bottle it. We go for a spin. Our intermediate time is still the one that stands. Luckily enough, though, our intermediate time is so far still good enough for 15th position, which would see us through into Q2 on intermediate tyres. Let me remind you, over the drivers who are going to be knocked out in Q1. We do go out on a set of soft tyres, though, just to be sure, because the last thing we want to do is stay in the pits and be embarrassed by our cockiness coming into this section, coming into the left-hander, and right on cue, we get knocked down into P16. That means we are currently out of this session. We need about a 5-second improvement on our intermediate lap time in order to get into Q2. Things are looking really good at the moment. 3 seconds better, but not as good as we were on our previous soft run. But we did not spin this time around. 2 corners left to go on this lap. Will we make it through into the second qualifying session, or are we going to get knocked out right at the start of this race? Around the final corner, down to the line. It's enough of an improvement. We're into 13th place. We're into Q2. We live to fight another day in this USA Grand Prix. So those are the standings. As you can see, P13 on the grid so far, but that is not the order that will set the grid, because we do have another qualifying session to see if we can get into the top 10. And just like usual, you know, we thought, again, for the fun of it, let's just go out on the intermediate tyres. Unfortunately, this one we weren't able to set lap time, because being the good citizen I am, I wanted to get out of the way of the other people who were doing serious runs, and in doing so I got invalidated for this lap and the next one. So we came back to the pits, we got serious, we put on softs, we went for a lap, we came around the final corner, and the lap time was good enough for a 34.9. It is 8th position at the moment in the standings, but we're in the danger zone of potentially getting knocked out in Q2. Still in P10 as we exit the pits on a fresh set of soft tyres. And through the first corner to start our lap here in Q2, we get knocked out. We get put down to P11, but it is not over yet. We have a lap left to go, and we are up on our lap time so far. It's a 3/10 improvement so far. Will that be enough to get us through into Q2? It's 5/10 up on the lap time, but a snap through the long right-hander. We have to catch it. We lose 2/10 of a second through the left, and then on the throttle, 1 braking zone left to go. We completely miss the apex on the corner, but somehow we gain time on traction. Yes! Yes!
3/10. 3/10.
Oh, did you see that save? And as you can hear, we are absolutely gassed by that result. We are into Q3. We're P10. We just about made, well, I say by 3/10. So it was actually a really good lap. We didn't really need too much. And now we're moving on to Q3. Going out this time on wet tyres, not actually on intermediates. And we worked out pretty quickly it was a bad idea. So not something that I would recommend using to anybody else who wants to do a qualifying session. So again, we got serious. We put on the soft tyres to go for a final run. 1-shot qualifying for us here in Q3. Round the final corner. What is it going to be good enough for? Will it be better than last in Q3? Yes, it is. It is P9 on the grid. It's at the back of the Q3, but you know what? We'll take that. We don't have a lot of pace around this American Grand Prix circuit. We've never really been that good around here. So P9, I'm actually really happy with that. So without any further ado, let's get into the race. We're on the grid now. We actually got kicked out of the session but we got back in during the formation lap, and we are ready to take control of our car. The lights are coming on now. Our engine is revving, and we are going racing for the American Grand Prix. 56 laps await us. It's a terrible start because we've just seen our tyre temps are on minus 64 degrees. How on earth has that happened? Who put my tyres in a fridge before this race? We are tumbling down the field as we're trying to get some temperature into our tyres. They're still in the negatives somehow as we go through the S's section. I'm just so shocked I haven't lost more positions. I gained a couple there as two drivers wanted to kiss off the circuit on the right-hand side. There's some more kissing going on as a Red Bull and an AlphaTauri. That's not how it works. Your father and son. What are you doing there? But the safety car has been deployed, and this is an absolute savior for myself. On the second lap, we've finally got good tyre temps in our car. It's taken us 2 full laps, one of them under safety car, in which we can weave all over the place to get tyre temperature. We are up into 85, the sweet spot for tyre temperatures, but that was an insane start, okay? Starting the race with minus 64 degree tyre temps. That is not something you want to do on the grid, and I hope I never have to do it again, but the race is back underway. We've got Jamie Mells, a driver who is disconnected, just ahead of us, so this should be a fairly easy overtake on the AI car of Jamie Mells. He's in the Alfa Romeo. I'm in the Alpine. Do we go for it down to the first corner? No, we are too far behind. Not a good restart from us, but the car going very slowly through the S's section. We see an opportunity on the inside. Luckily, the AI car backs out of that, and we move ourselves up into 10th position. We're back into the points for the time being, but we know that once Jamie Mells gets back into the session, he's going to be absolutely rapid. He was the man who's put it on pole position. A couple of laps later, and as you look through turn 2, a little bit of debris on the outside of the corner. That is good news to me, because that means somebody ahead has got damage, and it is the Aston Martin of Kunst is back. So we're going to get a very easy overtake on the Aston Martin, going round the outside into the stadium section, and he doesn't stay on the inside of the corner. Wise full driving from the Aston Martin there, and we move ourselves up into P9. We've got a safe spot. We've got a buffer now as Zafso goes on the attack of us here on lap 11. It wasn't long before Zafso caught us up. He goes for it up the inside into the heavy braking point, but we hold it on the brakes around the outside, giving us the inside for the next corner, and we're going to get it nicely tucked in on the apex. Zafso still on the left-hand side, but he backs out of it. Can he have a look up the inside into the left corner? He does not. And that means for the time being, we do hold on to this position. Lap 12, 1 lap later, Zafso's going for it again. He's on our tail. He's going on the attack now, down in towards the left-hander. This time, can he get it stuck? I mean, he's ahead of us at the time being, but late on the brakes compared to the Mercedes, sending it right up the inside there. And we've got it back again. Zafso, nothing he can do to fight against us. So we hold P9 for the time being. Zafso having to wait, well, rather patiently, so fair play to him. Waiting 2 laps so far. Will it be a third one? He's back again 1 lap later. Zafso right on my tail. He's on the inside. He gets the job done. We're using the remaining part of our ERS. It's late on the brakes again. Up the inside, we make the corner. Zafso, though, having a look around the outside. He's later on the brakes this time than he was 2 laps ago. He's still got that inside line coming into the corner. Can we go for a switchback on the Mercedes driver? We are held around the outside, and Zafso finally, after 3 laps of trying, moves himself up into P9 for this race. We're back down into P10, and Jamie Mells is back in the session, but he has a spin, so we don't have to worry about him. He's out of this race, and we're happy in P10. We've got 14 seconds to the car behind. Make that into P9 as Scars has retired from the session. He is out as well. Happy to be in P9. Again, having that safety buffer in the race. And now we're catching up to Average Joe. He's on the medium tyres. He had a really good start to this race. Well, it usually helps if you do have tyre temperature, which I believe he did have at the start of this race. But now his mediums have massively dropped off. He's into the pits. Rutanius is into the pits. But we're not going to get Rutanius. He was a little bit too quick for us. He means that he gets a freeze pit stop over us, stays in P7, and is now going on the attack on those soft tyres. But we do move past Average Joe and up into P8. Somebody that we're going to be fighting with because we're on opposite strategies in this race. We're starting the race on the hard tires. We're just going to be going on to the mediums later on unless anything changes as a Ruta goes for the fastest lap of the race. We've got Razin into the pit lane as well, and that is going to move us up into a beautiful 7th position in this race. It's been a bit of a slow burner. We haven't necessarily got the pace compared to others, but just you wait till what happens on the final lap of this race. It is absolutely insane. But before we get to that, we have got Razin on the back of us. A battle once again down in towards this left-hander. Can we do what we did on Zasso? Can we hold him for 3 laps behind us? He goes to the inside. We're going to hold it round the outside now. We don't dart to the inside like we did on Zasso. We actually go really wide, leaving Razin a lot of room on the inside for that corner. We hold the inside now going into the right-hander, but Razin's still on the left. He's got the better line, but he leaves us that inside. We go for the switchback, a big lunge on the inside. Razin with the switchback. Can he hold it around the outside through the long right-hander? He tries it. He's still there on the outside of the corner. Get the inside to this left-hander now. We're going to go around the outside. We try to hold it. We really shouldn't have been there, but we do hold the position. Unfortunately, because it was done off the track, it is an illegal overtake. So we have to give that position back. Razin back up to P7. Fair enough, we should have really stayed there. We stayed for maybe a little bit too long. So Razin back up into P7. We're down to P8. But look at the penalties starting to form around us. This could be crucial at the end of the race. If we can keep it clean, get no penalties, then we can certainly gain on a fair few amount of drivers. Zafso now into the pits from those, no, he's actually going on to medium tyres. So we're on old hards, he's on fresh mediums. It's only going to be a matter of time before Zafso is right on our tail, trying to overtake us, and perfectly timed, here he is, going down into left-hander. Zafso right on our tail. We completely missed the apex there. We'll send it a postcard when we realise where it is. And then into the right-hander, Zafso just gets insane traction off of this corner, and like I did to Razin, he does to me right up the inside. I kind of aware to it. I tried to do a switchback, but the traction of these old dead hard tires, look at that, 50% rear worn tires. It's not going to happen. We've got no traction compared to those fresh mediums of the Mercedes of Zafso, and he holds that position. Marcus into the pits now. He's going on to soft tires. Wild tires absolutely dead here on lap 43 out of 56, 68, 69% tire wear there for us in this race, as we've got Marcus there down into the first corner, but he's on fresh softs. We're on dead old hard tires. He's going to be right on our tail, and look at that, he is, but we are making the strategic call to not fight with him and just come into the pit lane. Go on to what he has done. He's shown me that, you know what, softs are going to make it until the end. So let's pit for a brand new set of soft tires. For some reason, he's also into the pit lane. I say for some reason. We were in a voice chat, all of us, quite a lot of us together. And his race was pretty boring. My race was pretty boring. We thought, do you know what? Let's just race with each other. So he's gone on to soft tires. We're going to have a race for the remaining few laps. And it's going to get salty. Okay, be aware for that. But we rejoin the race in P9. I try and go for this really wide line to open up the corner. It massively backfires on me. I will never do that again because Marcus is alongside me through turn 1, but we do get the exit on him. We do move up into P9. Average Joe is the next driver on our radar. He's in 8th position, but look at the penalties on the left-hand side of your screen. 12 seconds of penalties. What are you doing, Average Joe? Where have you been driving? In Mexico. You're on the wrong circuit, fella. He is in P8, but we're going to get a very easy overtake on these soft tires compared to those hards up the inside of the final corner, moving us up into P8. Average Joe gets a double whammy. He moves down into 10th, and hopefully for him, there's nobody right on his tail because those 12 seconds are going to hurt otherwise. But Marcus still right on our tail, and we understand that Marcus is quicker than us, okay? We can accept that, so we're going to let him fly by us, and he is going to DRS tow me to try and get Ecos Bart. That is the next driver on our radar. We were ahead of Bart before he pitted earlier on in the race when we were still on those hard tires, but now we pitted a little bit later. He's done a massive undercut on us. He has got the gap. We now need to gain that back on the soft tires. But one person in particular that I was very happy to overtake is the Mr. Dirk Chocolate. This is actually his league that he has set up, and I am about to lap him in a 100% race in his own league. Yes, my internet is dying a little bit at this stage. We do drive through Marken, even though there is no ghosting on. So we were actually quite lucky there, but that's just, I guess, just because of lag. But now the internet issues have been sorted. We're here on lap 49, trying to hunt down Ecos Bar, but we take a little bit too much curb on the inside. And look at that, we have got a 3-second time penalty, which kind of ruins our hunt for Bart, because if we could just get 3 seconds on him before that, we would have been able to have a fight. But now, me and Marcus, we're going to have a fight down into turn 1. We don't give a lot of room. Marcus wants more, trying to push me over to the right-hand side. I wasn't having any of it. He brakes way too late into the first corner, and we get a beautiful switchback on the Aston Martin driver. But Marcus, he's back again through the left-hander. He's right on my tail as we now go into the stadium section. He's so much quicker than me around this circuit. It's going to be tough to try and keep him behind. And he goes for a massive send on the inside. We make contact as I try and turn in for the corner. Maybe a little bit too much. I've broken my front wing now. So when the elbows are out, I'm forcing him out wide on the left hand, on the right hander. He doesn't want that. And now he is going to try and re-overtake us. We are going to defend this position like a lion. We're in the Alpine. It's lion defending. We turn in on the insides. He goes for a late lunge. I was going to chop off his front wing if he tried to stick his nose in there. Again, really keeping him tight to the wall as we run down to the first corner. We do a Lance Stroll, a little kink to the left, and there's a huge crash between the two of us. Marcus is out of this race. There is a safety car. We are absolutely wetting ourselves in the top left corner of your screens. This has worked out kind of perfectly for me because we've got a safety car to get ourselves back in this race. Was a little bit bad on my side. I did kind of dart a little bit to the left to try and force him on the inside. But let's take a little look at what happened there.
Is it Holy
shit.
Is that a safety car? You fucking yeah, soft. Come on.
Illegal overtake. What do I do? Oh, alright, there you go.
So, as you can see, Marcus not particularly happy with that crash, but all good. It was just good fun there between the two of us. But that scream had me absolutely wetting myself at the time. We've managed to bring ourselves back down to earth. We've settled the heart rate. We're not crying with laughter anymore. We're into the pits for a brand new front wing. How I managed to survive that without getting more than a front wing change, I don't know. But the front wing is on, and if you look at that dot on the minimap, the safety car is coming. We have timed this to perfection. Any later, any slower, if we lost too much time in that collision, that crash, we could have gone a lap down and we would never have got back in this race. We would have been finished in P10. That would have been our result. At the end of the day, settled for P10, disaster of a race, but we are back in this. We're now going to have to really push on these soft tyres to try and catch up to the safety car. And if we have a look on lap 54 out of 56, you can see the cars ahead of us, the safety car coming in on this lap. And if it wasn't more perfectly timed, we are back in this race. We are excited to get going once again. We're on brand new soft tyres. So is the majority of the field. But look at the penalties on the left-hand side. Ecos Bart, 6 seconds. Raz and Shai, 6 seconds as well. The problem is, we've got a McLaren, a back marker in the way. Ecos Bart trying to go for the overtake on the McLaren, who's gone very slowly on this safety car restart. Has already lost us 2.2 seconds over a driver that is 2 positions ahead of us. Not what we wanted at all. We go up the inside of the McLaren. We follow Ecos Bart through. We don't really need to fight Ecos Bart at this point, because if we can catch up to the rest of the field, maybe more penalties for other drivers will allow us to gain more positions through the S's section. And we are catching up to another back marker. Somebody we overtook earlier on. Kuntz is back. He's currently in P10. He's still on the points, but he is a lap down. So we've overtaken them now. And we are now, I think, through all of the back markers. We come to the end, sector 3 on the penultimate lap of this race. And look at that up ahead. There is a 6-car battle for the race win going on right now, and I don't know what to think at this point. I'm just still calm, collected. I can get 2 positions for sure here. I don't know what the penalty situation is for the drivers ahead of that. But for me, if we just stay behind EcoSport, who knows what could happen. And then the best final lap I have ever seen on F1 22 gave us everything we could have wanted. EcoSport fighting with Razin Shai. We've got a battle for the lead going on up ahead as well. We've got a leader who's kind of broken away from the pack ever so slightly. And then a huge crash on the outside of the first corner has allowed us from 8th, a minute down, to now be in 4th position, and another crash for 2nd and 3rd has put me up into 2nd place. And looking at my face, you can see I've just realized that the leader has 9 seconds of penalties. I only have 3. I need to be within 6 seconds of the driver in front, and out of nowhere, I have won this race. But we still have to keep Liam behind. The heart rate is rising. It's at 170 right now. I don't know how I'm alive at this point. My heart is beating so fast out of my chest. Liam, right to my tail. He's got so much straight line speed compared to me. As I was having to gain and catch up to the safety car, I had to use my ERS. I couldn't save it like he could. He has so much more battery than I have in this race. We've used all of our battery up. He is 2/10 of a second off me right now. I can't afford to lose a position to him because he has got the same amount of penalties as I do. I can't also afford to battle him because if we do, we're going to lose time to Bushy Ant, who is leading this race. And if I drop out of 6 seconds from him, I have lost this race. Through the last corner, Liam can't do anything yet. Can he do anything into the final corner? He has a little look on the inside, but he can't do it. And we are going to win.
Oh, let's go!
So dirty! So dirty! I'm reporting this.
Hayden won this? Hello, Jorrit.
That's Hayden won this.
How's Hayden won?
Oh, I would have got points. We had one more. Oh, I had one more. It's insane, man. Oh, God.
Oh my god.